What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nothing But Skills, and today I'm finally bringing you guys a skill build. Yes, a skill build, and this skill build I think you guys will enjoy. It's my first skill build I got to put together. I have another one in the works, and as I keep tweaking different things on these skill builds, I'll keep bringing them to you. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Let's get into it. So the first thing you guys want to do is pay attention to that I am running a demolitionist specialization, and that's going to give me more explosive damage. So that pairs up really good with my Seeker Mines. If you want to take a look at my grenade launcher, it was at what, 1600. So that gives you an idea of how hard this build is hitting with explosive damage. So let's take a look at my primary weapon. I am running the Merciless. I am running 4 offensive, 4 defensive, 10 utility at 222k armor, 74,000 health, and 1100 skill power. One thing I want you guys to know is you do not have to stack a lot of skill power. Sometimes stacking more skill haste is a little bit better because you get those skills back quicker. And with just like one utility mod, you can unlock every single mod in the game. And I'll show you my skill power on my Seeker Mines and my skill power on my turret in just a second. So I am running the Merciless. Now the Merciless is great because it has that explosion damage on the second bullet. If you guys don't know how the Merciless works, it's probably one of the better builds to run if you're going to stack a lot of explosive damage on your build. And at 37k, you can't really pick another weapon that's going to outperform this with explosive damage on your build. Now there are some other skill focused talents that you can run on primary weapons, but if you have the Merciless, I really recommend you guys throwing this on your build. Remember, it comes fully modded out with accuracy, weapon handling, stability, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Now for my secondary, you can pretty much run anything you want here. I do have a custom P416, and I am gonna run damage to elites on it if I plan on using it, some stability. I'm also gonna run damage to elites on the muzzle. And then of course, if you have that 20 round magazine, you wanna put it on there because that'll put you around 50 bullets with your custom P416. Now this one does have Optimus. Now Optimus isn't too bad, but if I could get a skill-based talent right here, it would definitely improve this. Now it has distance on here, but the main reason I have this weapon and what I want you to focus on is the bottom talent, recharge. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration, charges, and ammo. So this is one of the talents you guys want to have on the bottom talent on your secondary primary. And then of course on your pistol, you're going to want to have another talent, and I'll show you that in a second. But recharge is really good, especially for your skill builds. So let's take a look at the pistol. Now the fact that I am using the Demolitionist, I get my next recommendation for a talent that I recommend either having on your pistol or your secondary. In rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills have 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns. This can occur every 60 seconds. Amazing for PvE, PvP skill build. So whether you're running this in PvE or PvP, definitely recommend you having in rhythm on your skill builds. So let's get into the build because that's what you guys came here for, right? So I'm running a 2-piece China Light Industry Corporation mask. Now this is going to give me 10% explosive damage and 10% shotgun damage. If I can get one more piece China Light, this would be really good for skill builds at 30% skill haste. But I only have 2 pieces on here, so I'm really doing it for the explosive damage. So on the mask, the attributes, we have 21% skill haste, a really low roll of 73 skill power, and then we have destructive. Destructive is something you're going to see on this build because we are running, remember, we are running a Seeker Mine based build. So we want to have that explosive damage on there so our Seeker Mines hit a lot harder. Now, if I could get a better roll mask, I probably would go for it. Now let's get into the chest piece. The chest piece, we're running Alp Summit. We are going to be running a 2-piece Alp Summit. So we get 20% skill haste and 5% skill power. Now, if you were going to run some type of high skill power build, you probably would want to run the 3-piece. But for us, 2 pieces works great. We have 47k health. And then I decided to roll some weapon damage on here. So that way I can still put a little bit of damage from cover. So we got 13% weapon damage. And then of course, destructive, 20% explosive damage. And then we have an offensive mod on here. So that is something you guys might want to see if you could put on a couple of your builds. You definitely want a utility mod. So the offensive mod is going to give me 3% rifle damage, 1% weapon damage. The best rifle damage ones I had. Then we have utility mod. That's going to give me 111 skill power, 256 hive skill power, which we're not worried about. But that, look at that 205 turret skill power. Let's us put those mods on as we stack these on. And then of course we get the defensive system mending. That gives me another 4k armor, 3% total armor, and 2k armor on kill. If we get into the holster is probably one of the nicer holsters I like. I do like these Douglas and Harding, even though it only gives you 5% accuracy, nothing I'm really going to use here. But this comes with a skill haste, so it gives me one attribute of utility of 38%. It gives me destructive, 20% explosive damage, but then it also gives me another utility mod slot. So I'm getting 2 utilities on here. So I'm getting skill haste, and then I'm also getting a utility mod that's going to give me, look, 186 skill power. But then I get that 1.5% burn damage. That's going to work good with my flame turret. And then we get 1% increased blind duration. But not really too focused on that utility mod, because there are some utility mods if you can still get those. Remember the 256 turret damage, 256 secret mine damage, which you'll see I have later on in this build. If we get into the knee pads, this is my second piece of China Light. So I have 22% skill haste on these knee pads. Then I have more explosive damage, a lot of explosive damage. That's how we get those secret mines to hit harder. Then we have the offensive system mod that's going to give me 4% rifle damage, 1% weapon damage. Gives me some shotgun damage, but I'm not using a shotgun with this build. We're going to skip the gloves. We'll come right back to it. We're going to get into the backpack. So for the backpack, this is my second piece of Alp Summit. Now this is pretty much one of my favorite backpack rolls I've gotten. I have armor on here to give me some kind of survivability. I have 512 skill power. It rolled with destructive, and then I rolled skilled on here. Skill kills have 25% chance to reset skill cooldowns. I like this. Now, honestly, a reason I do like this is because sometimes those skill secret mines don't come back, even with the short cooldown time. If you get it instantly, you can just keep launching the secret mines like you're throwing fireballs out there. So definitely something I recommend you guys trying out. There is also some other skill talents you can put on the backpack, but skilled is one of my go-to. I do have another talent I use on a different build, and I'll show you guys that later this week. So we also get a utility mod slot that's going to give me turret skill power, hive skill power, and then we also have that 5% rifle damage and that 0.5% weapon damage. And finally, we can get into the gloves, the exotic gloves, the BTSU gloves. If you don't have these gloves, I definitely recommend farming them. They come with 2 utility mod slots, a defensive mod slot, so I have skill power, and then 4.5 explosive damage on there. I have another utility mod that's going to give me 99 skill power, 242 skill power, and 242 turret skill power. That's what I wish I could have stacked throughout this build, and that would let me not have to worry about stacking more skill power to unlock those special mods. But yeah, if you guys don't have these gloves work great. And if you guys have watched any of my builds and why I'm calling this the Fireball skill build, it's because once you infuse your glove, so whenever you apply a status effect, so I'm using my flame turret to apply the status effect, your gloves become infused with that effect. So when I throw my secret mines, it creates a small explosion, and then afterwards the secret mines disperse. Not only that, you get 10% skill damage, you get 10% skill healing and repair, and 10% skill duration for each utility. I have 10 utility on here. Now you stack that on this build and those secret mines hit harder. So once they're infused, they hit that much harder. I'm currently having a blast running these gloves, and I made builds without these gloves, skill builds without these gloves, but with these gloves, if you can get that status effect on somehow, it works great. And not only that, you don't have to use a flame turret to get the status effect going. Like say sometimes if you pick shock hammer, if you shoot that shock ammo at a player, it will infuse your gloves. And once your gloves are infused, then you can throw out your secret mines, and those secret mines will shoot out a shock effect in the area, and then they will disperse and explode. Now remember, these gloves have a chance of dropping on any invaded mission from any of the bosses. So if you're looking at picking up a pair of these, just farm those invaded missions. I personally would do challenging, as challenging is pretty easy to do if you have a decent build. Even if you build a skill build without the BTSU gloves, you can run through those missions pretty quick now, because skills are back and I'm enjoying them, I'm having fun, and I'll keep bringing you guys different builds. So let's check out the skills, right? Because the skills are what make this build. So we get into the Seeker Mine. If you look at the Seeker Mine skill power on this, it's only 2,300. But if you look at my skill power on the build itself, it was only 1,100. So just stacking those mods on the build can let you unlock almost every skill mod in the game, because remember, the max skill mod in the game right now is 3,000. So if you have anything around 2,800 to 3,000, you can pretty much unlock things. So mine comes back every 8.6 seconds. So we're under 10 seconds. And this, I can improve the damage on this one if I had some damage mods. Right now, I'm running 2 skill haste mods on here and 1 skill power mod. But if I could get rid of one of these skill haste and then put a damage mod on here, I could improve the damage because I have the explosive damage. The one thing I'm missing on this build is the Seeker Mine mods, because those mods will increase it, because you can get some up to I think 100%. For the second skill, I'm running the flame turret, and I'll tell you why I like running this instead of running the turret. Look at the skill power at the very top, 3000, so I can unlock any mod. So I'm running 2 damage mods, one at 94% and then one at 100% that you get from running the Demolitionist. So that is great. You already have almost 200% extra damage. And then I do have 1000 skill power mod on here, a utility battery pack. And that's how I'm pushing that skill power of 3000 when my skill power on my build is only 1100. Now look at this. The burn duration is 6 seconds. Burn damage is 10,000. And this lasts almost 300 seconds. And then the cooldown on this is 35 seconds. The great thing about this is as long as you blow this prior to it running out, it cuts the cooldown in half. So I like running this one because it allows me to put that status effect. So say once I put that status effect on, then I throw my Seeker Mines out and I get that extra damage. And that's why pairing this 2 combo up with those BTSU gloves works really good, and they work hand in hand. Now let's go into my stats real quick, because I know you guys want to know that to wrap this video up. We're running what, 37k damage on the Merciless. We have 60% headshot damage. We get a reload time of 15 seconds. We get some stability, some accuracy. Look at the weapon handling, 20%. All weapon damage, 15.5%. And then on the rifle damage, an additional 28%. Not too bad. And then we have no damage to elites here, because this build isn't built around damage to elites. It's built around explosive damage. We're going to go down to the skills so we can check that out. And you can see that we have skill haste of 101%. So that's why I'm getting my skills back a little bit quicker. Now it doesn't show your explosive damage on here, so you just have to calculate that yourself. Remember, when calculating your explosive damage, Demolitionist gives you explosive damage right off the bat, and then whatever you have stacked on the build. But yeah, getting these gloves infused using something like the flame turret with the Seeker Mine combo I think works really good. And then when you run the Merciless, you can destroy all those mechanical dogs, the mechanical turrets, pretty quick. I like running this combo. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will have some more skill builds later this week. I appreciate all the support as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But guys, until the next video, nothing but skills out.